Parshas Rabbi. Re'ei anochi noisin lifnechem hayom bracha uklala. See, says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you have the ability to choose your own destiny. Follow the mitzvahs, you'll only receive brachas. Neglect them, klalas. Many of the Mefarshim offer various pshatim to explain why the pasuk opens with the word re'ei, see, in the singular, and it continues lifnechem, in front of you, in the plural. The Kli Yakar gives a pshat that is so appropriate for this Shabbos Mevarchim Elul. We're all familiar with the famous Gemara in Kedushin that tells us La'olam yireh adam atmoi ki'ilu chetze chayav v'chetze zakai. A person always needs to see himself as if he's 50-50. He's half innocent, half guilty. He does one mitzvah, it tips the balance in his favour. And he does one avera. Woe to him, he's tipped the balance against him. Our actions, our individual actions, can have tremendous importance that can make all the difference. As Klal Yisrael are standing on the mountaintops of Har Gerizim and Har Eval, they're being taught the importance of arvus, of being responsible for each other, and how even our private actions affect one another. That is, Re'ei anochi nosei nifnechem. Re'ei, see that your individual actions have a global effect, such a big effect on others. So the Kotzker Rebbe, it's obvious why the Torah writes it in this way. The Torah is given equally to everyone, yet everyone learns and understands it on their own level. Yes, says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm giving the Torah to all of you, lifnechem, all of you together. But you each need to see it with your own eyes, re'ei, with your capabilities. You each see it from a different angle. The Kotzker Rebbe quotes a pasuk in Keheles, V'da, and know, realize, ki al kol eile yaviacha ha'elekim b'mishpat. On all of these, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to bring you b'mishpat, in judgment. The word V'da, says the Kotzker, is instructing us that we all need to evaluate ourselves. We need to ascertain the specific strategies that we each need to ensure that we act properly. What am I capable of achieving? V'da means I need to know myself. This week, those doing Daf Yomi completed Masechah Shabbos. They were Messiah Masechah Shabbos, and they began Masechas Eruvin. It was an unbelievable accomplishment. Maybe I'm not capable of learning Daf Yomi, but I can listen to a 10-minute halacha shiur on Wayu Torah. We've all been given the same Torah. Now it's our job to see, v'da, to understand, to recognize, to see the best way for us to access the Torah. I remember overhearing once a fascinating exchange. Someone met a mother with her twin daughters, and she says, wow, they're identical. How can you tell them apart? And the mother quickly replied, well, what do you mean? They're so different. They've got such different abilities, such different personalities. And maybe that's Peshat in another pasuk in this week's parasha. So it tells us, Bonim matem l'Hashem Elokeichem. You are children to Hashem your God. Being children of HaKadosh Baruch Hu means not only that He wants the very best for each of us, but that of course He recognizes us for who we are. Unlike the person who passes the twins on the street and can't tell them apart, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Yodea Machshavois Adam. He understands our very inner thoughts. It's our job, as the Kotzker Rebbe said, to try and know that too. V'da. And being able to see things differently is itself a true bracha. At least 3 times a day we begin the Amidah with the Berachas Avos, where we ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu to remember the Zechoyos of Avraham, Yitzchak and Yaakov. We know, of course, that the Avos were very different personalities. Avraham is the paradigm of chesed, of kindness. Yitzchak exemplified the midah of gevurah, of strength. And Yaakov represents Tiferes, which is a synthesis of the two, adapting to every situation. We may all say the same words of the Amidah, but we begin by acknowledging that there are vastly different ways of seeing the world. This week, Devorah and I celebrated Hudi's first birthday. Over the past year, we've really learnt how every child is so different. Every child has a unique neshama. V'darki al eile yaviacha elokim b'mishpat. Ask yourself, what are you capable of achieving? Just like the Avos were radically different from each other, so too we must find our individual connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We've got to serve Him with the abilities, the koichos that we have. And in spite of any challenges that have been thrown our way. I believe that only when we see ourselves properly, only when we understand what we are capable of, are we then in a position to move on and to begin taking responsibility for other people too, as the Kli Yakar writes. The message should be plain to see. As we strive to ready ourselves throughout Chodesh Elul, let us begin by looking only at ourselves and see what we can do to improve in our lives. May we be zeicha to the day v'sachazena eineinu b'shuvach l'tzion b'rachamim, that we see Zion in HaKadosh Baruch Hu's mercy. Have a wonderful Shabbos.